Erin Gerlach is here to show us how to embellish a canvas and really personalize it, right, Erin?
Yes, this is a really fantastic way for you to enhance and put 3D effects on canvases that you've already painted, or make it a two-step for when the next time you do paint is. So we're gonna get started, and this is the original canvas piece right here.
It's very pretty.
And as you can see, it has been highlighted with the center and then also adding a vase to it. Of course, you could do this a gazillion different ways. So
But you're jazzing it up and making it a little more textural.
Yes, so one important thing when you're working on this, obviously you want your paint dry. The second thing is to put something underneath that fits inside the bottom of the frame, so you at least have a surface that you can move something around.
Because you want something hard underneath.
You don't want to stretch the canvas by pressing on it, depending on how much you're doing. Now, if you're just doing a simple embellishment, you may not need to do that, but for this, we definitely want to do that. So we're going to start with a 2-part modeling clay. This happens to be green colored, and so Julie, if you will,
so I take equal parts of the two parts and I mix them together to basically activate them until I only have one color in my hands.
Yes, so they're gonna watch you do that, and they're gonna watch me start to apply this.
It probably sounds a lot more fun to watch you apply things
all right.
than me mix.
That's okay. So I, before I started here, I kind of laid out, being that this is a mosaic pattern, I kind of laid off to the side what I wanted and even cut out a little template and kind of have it laying over here. It's not gonna be exactly like that other one.
And are you doing that because you have to do it quickly, or just because you felt like it would be better if you planned it?
Well, there is a working time. With each and every brand is going to give you of modeling clay like this. You are going to have a different working time. So first, check your working time, and second, that will determine how you lay your pieces out and how quickly you work. Now, some people will get really nervous and go, oh, I don't have, 2 hours. I want to spend more than that on there. So you can always kind of cut yourself off at a certain point, let the product cure, because this is an air curing clay, and then just finish off what you have and then continue the next day. You can definitely work in pieces
to make your life easier.
Yes.
So now you're rolling that flat, I assume?
Again, why you want a firm surface underneath of you.
It would be very hard to do that on a traditional stretch canvas without something. It would just sort of bow. You could actually, I'm just thinking, actually use like a wood panel canvas or something like that too.
Definitely could. Definitely.
Do you need more of the clay, or are
sure,
you all set?
Let's put it on there. It'll be a little bit different color. This one doesn't have any black in it, but that's okay. That'll be.
But I also like that. There means that the color, just like with your paint, I noticed that like the vase has a slight highlight. And actually, I feel like this would be great for somebody. You can buy all these pre-made canvases that have a painting printed on them.
The
and
octopus
you could,
right there.
Oh, is it really?
Pre-made. Yes.
So that's a great way that then you can just embellish a store-bought canvas and really make it something special.
Yeah, this is really going to be a lot of fun the next time you go painting, to start coming up with all the different ideas that you can do with this here. So we're ready to start embellishing, and we're just going to go along the edge.
And you can embellish. I see you're embellishing with what looks like tile and beads and all sorts of stuff like that. Stones. I mean, I'm just thinking, like, what can't you use? Is there anything that you don't want to put on?
Well, that was the base of bringing everything that I did.
So you really can use anything. And in fact, if you didn't want to do a mosaic, I know you have a couple examples here. The tree, for instance, where instead of embedding mosaic tile, what you've actually done is you've used texture. So you could use stamps or anything like that.
Any kind of rubber stamp or type material. Here's a wood pressed one. So it's really easy if you've got a tree project or something like that going.
Also, if your kids break something, you can take the thing that they broke and you can, put it together this way and then hang it on the wall and be like, see what you did.
Yes. So something that's kind of fun about some of the pieces that I have here, some of these are just bead strands. So this is a neat way to apply the beads. You leave them on there, and then you're going to take your beads wherever they're cut off, and of course you're just gonna. Oh my
gosh!
Pull it out and look at that.
Seen anybody do that. That is so smart.
It was my magic moment right there.
That's literally genius. Worth the price of admission, as they say.
Oh, so we're just gonna keep sticking things along in here.
And so you could use all kinds of stones if you wanted a more natural effect. You could use things from nature, twigs and stuff like that. You could use plastic. I have tons of broken jewelry. All of that stuff would be great to do this.
There we go.
Oh, Erin, I love that trick.
Like that? Yes, I do too. It's one of my favorites.
So now you're working around, and of course you're keeping things mostly in a green theme here, but if you had wanted a high contrast grout, you could have used a different color of clay, like maybe a terracotta would be really nice with the green, or even a black or something.
A black would have been fantastic. So just
So
moving
I was
along
gonna
with
say,
that.
it's one of those things where anybody, like we could all have the same supplies and yet make wildly different things just based on the colors that we chose.
Right, so then I remember where those highlight pieces are. And so now, again, I can use my little trick there and go
pull
along.
it out to get that beautiful line.
Well, not those ones.
But it does work. I can see how you can work around a curve.
Yep.
You can work, you know, into all sorts of shapes.
You can pull them up too. So if I don't like what I did there, I can just put those pieces aside. I can rework the clay a little bit, and then I can press them back down.
So this is super forgiving. Actually, you know what? Metal pieces would be really cool too.
You could use anything. I think that some gears would be really neat in there, or something like that.
I kind of want to rip your necklace off. It has some green beads and use that too. That would be so pretty.
Well, it is a piece of metal. It has some of this clay on it, actually.
Well, that's such a cool another use. You just think about, you can use all these techniques if you don't want to do a canvas for something else you might be interested in. You could, you know, even make like ornaments and stuff like that would be really cool.
So I think you get the idea of what I'm doing there. And so I'm gonna move on to this next part, and I'm just gonna do, I'm gonna roll simple marbles out here. And
so you're just making a ton of little balls,
I have 2 different colors that I'm using.
But this is still like a 2-part clay.
It's still a 2-part clay.
So it's still an adhesive, basically. So that's why you're just able to stick it directly onto the canvas, and you don't need additional adhesive.
No, and I'm not pressing very hard either. I mean,
you're not pressing very hard. Interesting. Well, I would think that you would have to like really press it on.
Nope, not for this.
Just a little touch.
Just a little touch. So to make some texture like you see on that other one, I just take like a small ball tool and I dip it in water.
Why are you dipping it in water?
Just to give it a little bit of a release. You want to be careful with the types of, if you were to use something to smooth your clay out or clean it up, you want to be really careful about what that material is to make sure it doesn't remove paint. Because then, of course, you would end up redoing your canvas.
That to me almost looks like sea urchins or some sort of like underwater creature. It's very cool.
Well, and you can make this anyway. If I had a star-shaped punch, that would be really neat to make it really stand out. Now, there's a couple ways we can finish this off for a couple different things that we can do. The first thing we're going to do is just some mica powders, and you can apply this with your hand, and just to give it a little bit of a shimmery shine.
Oh my gosh, and I love how the mica only really sticks to like the outside of the little bowl shapes.
That's why I made that urchin style there. But this will stay on there just like your paint will. So it gives you some other finishing ideas for that. But for, you know, the edges of this, if you were going to, you can go back in and you can blend this right in on your canvas edge. The other thing that is really fun to do if you don't want to actually touch your canvas is to make frame corners for it. And to do that, I just took a press mold and you just press, it's a press and pull.
So you literally press and pull.
You literally press and pull.
It's very well named. Oh my gosh.
And then you could apply it right to the edges there. And you could use a variety of, you know, like this is a leaf, you know, so we'll put a leaf in there.
And you could certainly do this to a frame as well. It doesn't have to be a canvas, so that you could be using all these techniques, but just on a frame instead of actually on the picture. Actually, it would be neat to do this.
You could definitely do it on a regular picture.
Photo.
Or like, yeah, a photo of your kids or something. Do some really fancy on the black and white pictures or something.
Oh my gosh, or if you went on vacation to the beach, you could make them sea urchins.
Yes,
because you could do a whole like sea theme. You could press in seashells, and it would even like, you know, I love that. It would give, you know, something to do on the trip even where you'd be like, let's collect shells so that we can frame a memory.
Yes.
So if we look at some of your finished pieces, we can see the wide variety of textures. And again, I love the idea of a store-bought painting, which is what this octopus is. This to me does feel like the sea. I see all my little sea urchins.
You do.
Crawling down on here with some beach
It's
pebbles.
also a great way to repurpose a canvas that you don't like that you already have.
Because you're just covering up. So if you're interested in abstract, it works. If you're interested in something literal, it works. If you want to do a frame, I mean, it's just very flexible.
You can embellish just by putting something small in there like this butterfly that will just stick right on there like that. And then when you tip it up, just so you know, other than the rock that just rolled off, it stays on there just so you can, hold it up and kind of check it out as you work through
That
it.
is very cool.
So,
definitely something I want to try. I'm going to be looking at all those pre-made pictures in the store totally differently next time.
I think you will, and the next time you go paint something, you may have that in mind.
I like that. Thanks, Erin.
Thank you.